Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing the hulking 2013 to 2016 IWC Ingenieur AMG Black Series ceramic, 46 millimeters in, you got it, black ceramic. It's a timepiece that nevertheless wears a lot more easily on a small wrist than the similarly 46 millimeter IWC Big Pilot. I would actually recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 16 centimeters circumference, and I certainly wouldn't recommend such a small wrist for a Big Pilot. All in ceramic, the watch is lighter than you might expect, nor is it terribly thick, only 14.5 millimeters thick. This one will slip underneath a jacket cuff. Not a tight dress sleeve, but a jacket cuff. Across the wrist, now don't be intimidated because lug shape matters here, but it is 57 millimeters from one solid ceramic end to its opposite number. The timepiece, however, is fitted with a reasonably pliant and flexible hybrid rubber alligator leather strap, and I'm going to show you now why lug shape matters, because these lugs are rather short cropped, and you can see at their edge they are sharply downturned, so they do sort of drape themselves around the wrist. Now the timepiece features a rather Hublot-esque hybrid large rectangular scale alligator leather strap with a monotone stitch and dark brown scales, rubber on the underside, and it flares as it approaches the lugs. It gets thicker in profile, but also from overhead it flares to match the swell of the lug hoods. So you still get the highly integrated lug and bracelet design that Gerald Genta first proposed back in 1976, the same year he designed the Ingenieur SL and the Nautilus. And here you can see there is a titanium pin buckle, and all of the metal hardware on this watch is titanium. So between the titanium and the ceramic, the watch wears fairly light on the wrist. Ceramic is very light. It's not a very dense material. You can see that there's actually a combination of shapes and textures going on here. You have a matte finish for the majority of the case. You have a couple of handsome curves, principally about the bezel in the mid case, and then you have harsh angles at the edge of the lugs as well as the crown guard structures. So there's a wonderful juxtaposition of form, but also of finish, as you have that matte finish for most of the case, and you can see that the entirety of the case and the lug hoods is matte. And then you turn the watch over and you can see on the bezel side, the bezel, which is double stepped, is entirely of high polish, and the characteristic Ingenieur bezel bolts are likewise finished to match the bezel. They are of high polish. Now you can see the dial has a wonderful dished profile because it features an outboard flange that includes the Arabic numeral minutes and seconds, and then inboard it steps down. The hour track is composed entirely of applique indices and double Arabic numerals 12 and 6, and it's a sort of matte metallic bronze. That's how I describe it. It's somewhere between gold and brown, which fairly well translates to bronze. It's a matte metallic, so it does have a little bit of a shimmer and a sheen, but not an explosive sunburst effect. And then you can see that the center dial is stepped up in a little disc that's nicely cropped by the aperture for the date. The watch is powered by a IWC manufacturer caliber reference 80110. 28 joules, let's get as close as we can, give ourselves a bit more light. 28 joules, automatic winding. It has all of the IWC hallmarks. You can see a display case back over this one, the bidirectional shock protection of the Peloton winding system, the bidirectional pawl and ratchet wheel system. You can see the twin pawls and the ratchet wheel. It's a bidirectional winding system. You can see the clip that's part of the shock protection mechanism. It is both a very efficient system designed by Albert Peloton, the great mid-20th century IWC watchmaker, and a very tough system, being shock resistant. It winds a 44-hour power reserve that feeds a balance beating away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, all of this pivoting on 28 joules, and thanks to the screw-down crown, water resistant to 120 meters. You can see this is an IWC manufactured caliber, nicely decorated, though principally mechanical in its execution. It's thoughtfully designed with circular Cote de Genève across the rotor, circular Cote de Genève across the bridges. All of the screw heads are black polished. And then there's an engine-turned perlage on the base plate. You can even see that the lever and the escape wheel, if I can isolate them in the light, they are nicely mirror polished. So there's black polished on functional components as well. And the wheels including the ratchet wheel, feature a satin finish that's radial in its array. It's a good looking movement, and again, it's all IWC's own, adjusted in 5 positions like a chronometer and made in Schaffhausen. Now about the Black Series nomenclature, this is an AMG watch. Since the early 2000s, IWC has partnered with Mercedes-Benz AMG to create a series of branded and themed watches. They've even created a car and watch pair that you purchase together. Now this timepiece is dedicated to the special series within a special series known as AMG Black, the AMG Black series being the highest level of AMG performance. Just as Audi has S, RS, and then RS Plus, you have AMG Black series, and that's exactly the series to which this watch is dedicated. The final refinements of this watch, I should mention, quick set date and hacking seconds. This is a watch that packs it all into a 46mm case that is nevertheless a bit friendlier than the big Pilot 46. If you think about it, the Gerald Genta Ingenieur becoming this reference 3225-04 is a bit like the Gerald Genta Royal Oak becoming the Royal Oak Offshore. If you take that same concept and apply it to the Ingenieur, you get this watch. It is the Royal Oak Offshore of the IWC catalog. See it and make it yours on the watch box. The ceramic IWC Ingenieur laughs at scratches and at darkness.